Billy Cratchit when he was doing that. Not today. Overcast. Here's Olazabal, second shot at a hole that has had plenty of adventures over the years.
Lies pretty good. A 6-iron from 180, and now that crosswind is once again helping.
We can see that we've got a little graphic on the screen, Judy, and that we're showing between 10 to 15 mile an hour of right to left and help. And if that stays up, it's not too bad. But if it just goes another foot and gets onto the road, it's almost, well, not impossible, but difficult. Nothing's impossible for that guy.
13 bogeys or worse. No birdies at 17 so far.
Second for Bart Bryant at the finishing hole.
Winner at the Memorial Tournament, Jack's Tournament, Muirfield Village in Columbus, Ohio. Bart at the age of 42, coming into his prime.
Everybody else just getting his round underway. This for birdie at the second hole.
Treacherous green. Big deep bunker there in the center between 2 and 16 that has to be avoided. Long's always the best way to be here on this hole.
Well done. Ernie trying to turn his season around a little bit. Hasn't been the best of seasons so far. Colin Montgomery at 14 for eagle. The 618-yard par 5, Ian.
Already seen a couple of eagles there so far today. Wind helps a little bit from right to left. You sort of start it out over the out of bounds on the right, get it down there a long way, and then sort of fire back into a sort of a slightly into breeze for the second.
It's a little tap-in birdie for Monty, but Ernie mentioned it. His first tee shot of the day. The swill can burn out there, but how many times has he played this course? What a mistake. Huh? Starting his day off?
Either misjudged the wind or just got a phenomenal bounce forwards. As you can see there, the ball runs here. It has a mind of its own. That ran 60 yards.
And he had no idea until he got up there that it was in the burn.
From the back of the tee there, it's 280 to that little corner of the Swilken Burn.
They have Toms, this for birdie at 14.
Something interesting here. It is a par 72, but there's only 2 par 5s and 2 par 3s.
As we go ahead to 17, this is Olazabal just off the green for birdie.
About a 85-foot putt.
So Jack talking about the 3 putts. These are extremely large greens. Not hard to do.
And at the first, we await the tee shot of Phil Mickelson,
who has had ample time to prepare for this championship. Came over well over a week ago. Rick Smith, Dave Pels, part of the Mickelson entourage, had traveled with him at every major championship. They discussed the strategy of the course. Phil worked so hard around the greens, trying to get the feel of all the different hole placements, thinking through the different scenarios.
This is game number 34 on the tee from USA, Phil Mickelson.
Ivor Robeson, the familiar voice at the Open Championship on the first tee.
Pretty aggressive club for Mickelson here at 1. Wow, a little 3/4 3-wood. You see that shot? Links golf, it'll bring out so many different types of shots
On the
that
tee
players
from England, Ian Poulter.
Should point out that Bart Bryant made his birdie at the last. So he's in the clubhouse with a 69, 2 back. Now, finally, a shot of something other than Ian Poulter's pants. He's actually going to hit a golf shot here at St. Andrews.
Had a pretty good game, too. He's won 6 times in Europe.
At 17. Tiger Woods for birdie to get it to 6 under.
Always a little bit slower going back this direction on the 17th hole. You see that road bunker on the right side there, hidden by the big mound that comes off this green.
These greens can't be quick because of the wind and the conditions here.
Correct. They're running about 10.5 for the championship, which is almost as quick as I've ever seen them, and they're in really, really good condition. They've had a wonderful lead up to the championship, just the right amount of rain, just the right amount of sun the last few days.
And still no birdies at 17 on the day. But take your par, you walk right to 18T, and you're happy about it. Tiger Woods remains at 5 under par. Retief Goosen already in the clubhouse with a 68. Luke Donald with the hopes of England on his shoulders. He hasn't made a cut yet at the Open Championship. Trying to do so right here at St. Andrews. Back in a moment.
Coverage of the 134th Open Championship, the most prestigious championship in the world. About an hour deep into our coverage here on TNT. You see the way that the course just fits right into the town of St. Andrews here, and on the 18th tee is Tiger and a few photographers and a few patrons.
Well, the golf course is the staple of the town, as is the cathedral. The town really built around the golf course. I don't think that's the case anywhere else in the world. Tiger, I'm surprised a 3-wood off the tee. Is playing the easiest hole on the course today. I believe he thinks he can get it there.
I don't think so, Bobby. This is a little low, controlled cut. And it's in a very good spot.
I believe Judy thought driver would be too much club.
Well, I really think certainly coming in, since they've turned the corner back at 12, reading the crosswind has been a little tricky.
That will be an interesting second shot to watch there. They're perched above the Valley of Sin. The 11th, par 3, playing 167 today, and Sean O'Hare, and we've talked about, you see him at 200, we've talked about winning at the John Deere and qualifying here. Did not have a passport, made some furious phone calls to get one, and here he is, arrived Wednesday.
Finished second at the Byron Nelson. He's been playing some brilliant golf this year. Really good swinger of the golf club.
Now Colin Montgomery, who birdied the 14th to get it to red numbers. He's 4 off the pace right now in his second.
Colin's been getting back into form a little bit lately. Will it hold up?
Now we can answer that. No, it will not. Now you saw Phil off the tee at the first, and now his second.
Breeze right back into his face from 130 yards.
Three-quarter shot again, keeping the trajectory down. And a conservative play there, Billy Ray.
Yeah, no doubt. And that burn place comes into play for all the players today. And plus, he laid himself well back.
Now, Phil Mickelson as a professional at the Open Championship. And remember, he was so much in the hunt at Troon. He and Ernie Els both trying to chase down Todd Hamilton, and Todd Hamilton steering them both down and winning over Els in the playoff. But
it's not a record he's proud of,
no.
Ernie. The shots and the talent and imagination that Mickelson has, you'd expect more out of him.
Ian Poulter's second at the first. And just one more note on the pants, by the way, Bobby. There was a contest here. 2,000 folks entered it to design those pants. And that was the winning design. They'll later go in the Hall of Fame across the street.
Yeah, the St. Andrews Museum.
Well, there's Tiger Woods making his way up the 18th with an interesting second shot to come. We'll be back. Arched out there for the first time this week. Mark O'Meara at the 16th, his second.
Tiger's buddy, and they've been over here for a couple of weeks now. While Tiger's been playing 36 holes a day, Mark was known to have bypassed that work regimen and gone fishing.
That was a photographer, by the way, who was intent on his work, never flinched as O'Meara's ball made its way toward his feet. Now Phil for birdie at the first.
Trying to get a feel of the pace of the greens. There's always a question mark when you play the first hole. Phil right on the mark.
That for a 4 to start the day. And now if you don't have tickets, you walk right by here. There's a barrier right there, but you get a pretty good seat right there at the 18th green to watch the proceedings. The 18th green and the first tee side by side, so there's some courtesy being extended there as you wait for players to hit their tee shots, etc.
And if you get bored with the golf, you just turn right around and go shopping right behind you.
That can be done also. Olafable second now.
Well, this is a shot I'm sure well learned on the European Tour, with a very straight-faced club, ball well back in his stance.
Clever. It's really, I think, the best way to approach that. Ian, do you agree with me?
I totally agree. If you back further, you can hit the lob wedge and try and juice it back a little bit, but
A little bit earlier, Stephen Dodd's third shot. There's some of the trouble you're talking about here, Ian.
oh no, he's hit it in the bunker. He's probably trying to bring it back off that little bank, and it actually spins back towards the flag, but that will not be a good position. Sometimes it just topples over that hill and falls straight down underneath the face.
They've changed the bunker, as we alluded to earlier, so that's a little bit flatter. So they invite balls not to be up against the face, but so that you can get out. But it's easier for balls to roll in now.
Definitely. Oh, there's our bunker cam.
Ah, very nice.
Didn't waste any time there, Terry. But in 2000, we couldn't see the players' faces from that angle. That's how much higher that wall was.
Remember back in 1978 and Tommy Nakajima putting into the road hole bunker and then taking 4 just to get out.
Thus the nickname for that road hole bunker of the Sands of Nakajima.
Caddies gave it that name. That's the beauty about this course. There's so many stories, so many names to everything.
See Tiger's scorecard, and birdied 7 of the first 12, bogeyed 2 of the last 5.
5 under on the loop. 6-hole stretch there, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The shortest part of the course, where really the scoring part of the golf course, the players have to take advantage there.
Now how about this play?
Well, I think he's going to go through the Valley of Sin. The question is, does he bump and run it? Does he putt it?
Well, he will putt it, and it was exactly the right club from the tee. Had he not cut it back into the wind just a touch, it would be absolutely hole high. I think he can keep this up just on the top ridge. Not quite.
It's a shot he's been practicing a lot in the practice rounds.
Birdie attempt to come there for Tiger. Moments ago at the third, this is Darren Clark. A look at birdie on the par 4, 397-yard hole.
Tough hole to get close with the hole cut left and wind moving right.
Now Ernie obscured your view a bit at home, but the crowd let you know. So the birdie for Darren Clark now, Ernie.
This has been what's been holding him back of late. After a brilliant start of the year, the long game's still there. It's just a matter of, can he get this working? There's a sign.
Ernie making no secret of the fact that hurt last year. That Troon to lose in that playoff to Todd Hamilton. Jose Maria Olazabal to join those other ones at 68, 4 under. Goosen, Donald, Lonard.
There you go.
Jose Maria Olazabal in the clubhouse at 68. So that quartet trailing Tiger Woods by 1 at this very moment, but Tiger looking for a little bit of breathing room if he can.
Well, at this point, Ernie, he's thinking 7 under through 12 holes. He's trying to really take it deep at that point. And a couple bogeys there at 13 and 16, where he found a couple bunkers. For Tiger right now, he's feeling this is a must-make. He wants to get that momentum back on his side.
Round 1. The leader by 2 at St. Andrews.
Well thought out round, well executed. Really worked the ball a lot today.
And when Tiger won in 2000, shot a 67 on day 1. Now, a moment ago at 17, Michael Campbell, who of course beat Tiger at the U.S. Open. Look at this touch.
Oh, it's exactly how he played there too at Pinehurst. Shot a 65 in the 3rd round back in 1995 here at St. Andrews. Took the lead into the final day, but folded under the...
There's the gust.
Yeah, you know, that's from 154 and 8 iron and a good-looking shot, guys.
I guess so, Billy.
Sensational shot there.
So the 4th hole, playing 480 yards, and as you mentioned, about 290 or so, depending on where they put that tee exactly, just to carry all the gorse and the growth to get to the fairway. And Ernie, very close. Here's Clark.
Well, he drove it way left. He's coming straight down breeze from this angle.
And this is the sort of putt that you see a lot of over the week at St. Andrews. You see a lot of 60 to 90 foot putts. The ball just caroms off these greens over the backs. Just avoid the bunkers, but you do get to use the flat stick very often.
99 champ Paul Lawrie on the tee at 17 just a moment ago. Oh, that wasn't over any of the O's.
That is not good. I saw it bounce. It stayed there.
Out of
There's the
bounds.
marshal signaling out of bounds. Obviously, you can't see that man from the tee, and we'll show you that with an aerial. This hole plays 455 yards. Certainly the most famous single hole in the game of golf. The Old Course Hotel down the right-hand side, the old railway tracks, what you aim over there, down into this very small fairway compared to normal. Scholars and Progressing, the name of the 2 bunkers there on the left, and of course, possibly the most famous bunker in all of golf as well, the road bunker there guarding this green. It's a huge green, road on the right-hand side, long left is the place to be today if you're erring anyway.
Campbell and his long birdie attempt. No hole like this in the world, nor would any architect today build a hole like this.
Correct. Ben Crenshaw was once asked about this hole, and he said, well, it's the most famous hole, but it's the most difficult par 4 in the world, because really it's a par 5.
Players earlier this week talking about the fact that it's at least a 4.5, and that played to what, about a 4.7 back in 2000, and playing a little bit easier than that, but no one has birdied it yet. Tiger Woods with the 66 today, opening round, and a 2-shot lead at the 134th Open Championship here at St. Andrews.
We have reached the midway point of our 7 hours of coverage of the Open Championship here on TNT. It is day 1 from St. Andrews. A little more sun than we've had earlier in the day. A little more breezy than we're accustomed to over the last few days. Paul Azinger, Ian Baker Finch. And joining me here, along with Laura Baugh, Billy Ray Brown, Bill Kratzert on the course, and Jim Huber handling interviews and essays. Sean O'Hare with a chance for birdie while you were watching ING at the turn. Of course, Sean qualifying by winning the John Deere and then celebrating his 23rd birthday Monday, furiously trying to get a passport to come over here. A par on the 18th to complete his day at even par 72.
Back at 17, Ernie, this is Tino Schuster from Germany playing his third shot. I know a lot of you at home have been waiting to see young Tino. We've been scrambling around to give you everything we can on him. He's the 1999 German amateur champion, playing on the Challenge Tour. 150th on the Challenge Tour last year, so not much of a pedigree coming in here, but boy, he's certainly playing well today. Phil Mickelson here at the 9th. 1 under par, going with driver.
Ian, he's played very well today. Only a couple errant drives have kept him from getting deeper under par.
Left-handers find it easier going out than the righties because they get to hit sort of a downwind draw in the left to right wind for the righties. And here at 9, that is a beautiful drive for Phil Mickelson on the green. 350-yard par 4.
Now at the 10th on the tee, and here is Stephen Webster, Paul, who is making a name for himself here on day 1.
Yes, he is. Well,
that may bring you back to earth after an eagle at number 9.
that is horrible. That may not be able to get out of there.
Steve Webster tied for the lead day 1 of the British Open. He's an Englishman, and for the time being sharing the top spot here on day 1. Actually credits a magician with helping him in the game of golf, and I'm sure they'll be quizzing him on that in the media center when he gets done with his round, as you look at another page of the leaderboard here on day 1. Vijay Singh, Ernie Els, Phil Mickelson. Look at those 3 all at 1 under par. And it's time now for the BMW 5 Series. And you're looking at the lowest 72-hole totals at St. Andrews in an Open Championship. Tiger Woods with the 19 under in 2000. And look at that, 1990 has had Nick Faldo, but Payne Stewart also right there. Now on the 11th, birdie try for Ernie Els.
Well, the conditions have changed quite a bit since this morning. Ernie and the players coming back to the clubhouse are going to find it a little more difficult than the guys this morning.
Speaking of coming back, right back to Ernie's feet.
Always irritated me when they laugh. It just means so much to us. He's laughing with them.
Or at least trying to.
Over at 9 now. Over at 9 now, Trevor Immelman.
Ian got up to a quick start, birdie 3 of the first 4 holes.
Boy, that was a pretty good putt there, Billy Ray, for his eagle. Left himself about a 3-footer for birdie.
Well, let's see if Ernie can try this again.
Well, and there's a really good look at the amount of grade that he has to negotiate. He's hit it to the right of the Strath bunker. Just the right thing to do. Look at that.
So he'll have that for his bogey at the par 3 11th. Now, you've played here before. How are you going to get that ball out, Zinger?
Well, I first of all wonder why he would hit driver here. Most of the players have laid up off of the 10th tee today, and now this is just all you can muster. Hit it as hard as you can, and just hope it comes up and out.
Needs to call on that magician.
Yeah, he does. No problem at all. Big challenge now to get up and down just to save par on a pretty much a birdie hole today. Still part of the loop.
Meantime, Ernie Els has made his bogey at the 11th. And right now, let's check in again with Jim Huber. Jim?
EJ, we have all been documenting the wonderful odyssey of Sean O'Hair most of today. And he joins us now. And Sean, this has been a crazy week for you, hasn't it?
It has. You know, it's just from winning last week and right after that, just been on the phone with a bunch of people trying to get accommodations to come here and trying to get a passport. And I just got in yesterday. So
first things first, though. I mean, you win the John Deere to automatically qualify.
Right.
You're the last guy in, and then you discover, oops, I don't have a way of getting in the country.
Right. You know, it just kind of, I realized that it was a qualification, obviously, by being the low man that wasn't already qualified. So, but I just kind of put that in the back of my mind and didn't really realize it until somebody told me after I won. And so right after that, I talked to John Deere. They got some great people there who've got some great connections, I guess. And so they said that they'd get one for me, and they did. So that was great.
You went through Washington to get it, obviously.
Yeah, they had some connections at the White House. So they called the White House and I guess went to the State Department and got me a passport.
But you couldn't swing two more, one for your daughter, one for your wife?
No, unfortunately not. I wish they were here, but it's a great experience and I didn't want to miss it, so I'm glad to be here.
You arrived yesterday, obviously still riding an emotional high.
Right.
And a jet lag as well. You go out and play yesterday afternoon. You still don't know where the bunkers are.
Right.
You don't really know the layout that well, do you?
No, I mean, really all you're trying to do is just get acquainted with how firm the greens are and how firm the ground is yesterday. And then, you know, today I got a little better feel for where all the trouble is and everything, and just kind of, you know, took some notes, mental notes out there, and hopefully we'll have a little bit better day tomorrow.
What are your overall first impressions of links golf?
I love it. You know, it's all imagination. You know, you really don't have to hit great golf shots. I mean, you just got to play it smart and play the right type of golf shot. And as long as you put it in the right spots, I mean, just like any other golf course, you got to put it in the right spots, right? But out here is all key of picking the right spot off the tee. You know, you're picking the right lines and committing to it, because pretty much every tee shot's a blind tee shot, and you can't see the bunkers. So, I mean, you just got to trust your lines and trust your swing.
Congratulations on a terrific season. A great week. Turned 23 on Monday. What a great birthday present, right?
This is great being here. It's an honor.
Absolutely. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the time.
Thank you.
EJ?
Thank you very much, Jim, and let's go to Ian.
Thanks very much. We're over at the 9th now, and this is Phil Mickelson putting for his eagle. Good speed, but anything can happen on that green.
A lot of respect for Sean O'Hair to come over like that, especially when he has to make that kind of effort, you know?
I agree. We're putting in now for his birdie at 9. This will get Phil to 2 under par. I can tell you it was the Nicklaus Golf My Way book that he was reading. We asked him last week what the books were that he'd bought. Nicklaus Golf My Way was one of them, where he got that tip that made him play so well last week. Now Trevor Immelman putting for his birdie. We saw him putt his eagle putt up to here. We've already seen 2 eagles here today. The first group out of Sabatini, Kakovakia and Simon Dyson. Dyson making a 2 there. That group went around in just over 3.5 hours. I think it'll be a bit more than 2 hours more than that by the end of the day. Now to the 5th. First par 5. Only 2 par 5s on this golf course. Sergio second.
Come on, Win.
2 par 5s, 2 par 3s.
Oh, and a nice bounce right into the face of that hill. If that ball lands on top of the hill, the green's 98 yards deep. Ball goes all the way across the green.
Good chance for eagle there for Sergio Garcia.
At 18, Tino Schuster. That's right, Tino Schuster with a chance to climb within 1 shot of the lead here at 18. But you know what? A 68 ain't bad here on day 1.
It's not bad at all. And there's always a Tino Schuster type jumping in, it seems like, in his championship the first day. Somebody we've never heard of. Interesting to see, amazingly, the last day as well, the last couple of years.
Tiger Woods has the lead. He got a lot of company chasing him. Of one of the contenders here, Steve Webster, 29 years old. And back in 1995, he was a low amateur here at St. Andrews. Missed the cut in 2000, but look what he does on number 9 today. This for eagle. And with that, a share of the lead with Tiger Woods at 6 under. But then he bogeyed 10 and 11 and putting for bogey at number 13. Uh-oh. There's a double. Dropped to 2 under. Later bogeyed the 16th to drop to 1 under par. So he, for the briefest of times, was tied for the lead. How he completed his round, you will see when we come back as our encore presentation continues.
All I want is to run somewhere, a great escape from the ordinary. Weekend ideas at my fingertips, thousands of ways to take awesome trips. All I want is, all I want is, all I want is, it's all complimentary. Weekends will set you free. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely?
That's ING. They're the financial services company that's all about fresh thinking. They're full of new ideas, so you're ready for whatever comes along.
I know about ING. What is that?
It's a guy with his own theme music.
Ask your financial professional about ING.
This is Emerald, and this is where you watch Emerald. This is Emerald's Cookware. And July 16th, this is where you buy Emerald's Cookware live. Food Network teams with sister network Shop at Home to bring you from Emerald's Kitchen. Bam! Shop cookware, gadgets, and gifts live with the master chef himself. It's almost like having Emerald deliver the stuff right to your door. Watch and shop from Emerald's Kitchen, Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern, only on Shop at Home on Bright House Network's Channel 95.
What is the right combination for purchasing your next car? At Fitzgerald Hyundai, it's easy. A 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty. 7 great models to choose from. All at the #1 Hyundai dealer. Fitzgerald Hyundai, where the all-new Tucson is only $16,999. Or how about a 2005 Hyundai Sonata with auto, AC, power windows, locks, front side airbags, CD, and more for only $13,889. Or with $1,000 owner loyalty, $12,889. Only at Fitzgerald Hyundai, where we have the right combination for you.
Back here at St. Andrews.
I think that's the club. I think the play here is to try, leave the ball on the front edge of the green. And, even if we end a little bit right, it's a good angle.
Phil Mickelson obviously discussing with Jim Mackay, his caddy, the play here at 17, his second.
Well, Ernie, I can tell you he's laid it well back. He's got 224 yards left. The only play is up the right-hand side.
He's trying to chase it, run it up there. And that's a terrible leave from there, Billy, right?
I'm not sure there's enough cushion to get his club underneath the ball from this this next shot.
It'll take a Phil Mickelson-like flop shot. Oh, that is Phil Mickelson to pull that one off.
And add to the equation some rain, which has begun to fall here. We had just a little bit this morning, very briefly. But now the umbrella's coming out.
With that club, that should be fine. I mean, any more than that. Pull one of these, I think. I don't know. I think it's just like a knock shot. I don't think it's a full shot. I mean, we're playing. If it comes up front right, that's fine. Okay.
I mean, like right edge of the green.
Yeah, front right. Yeah.
58.
Yeah, 158. So. Uses a kind of a little knock, smoothish one.
Billy, on this hole, the importance of hitting the fairway is extraordinary because out of the rough, can't control the spin, can't control the trajectory and the distance very well. and it's a hole you need to move it right to left to feed into the green. You can't work it out of the rough.
Yeah, you're just playing defense from here.
That's pretty good defense right there.
Well, it was for a while.
For a while.
Earlier at the 12th, Mark Hensby with a birdie try. Joined the club at 4 under.
That's the way to close the loop. An Australian who won at the John Deere Classic last year.
I wonder what is in the equation for him. He finished 5th at Augusta, 5th at the U.S. Open. Now he's playing well here.
Good player.
10 players right now at 4 under. Tiger Woods with a 66, leading by a couple. Sergio Garcia just a stroke back. And here's Jim Huber. Jim?
With Nick Faldo, as the rain starts to pour down, you have played in obviously much, much worse conditions than what you saw today. But can you explain to the uninitiated what it's like out there?
Well, the problem is, it's pin positions. And if you hit it on the wrong side, and they're getting very, very sneaky with a lot of pins now. There's an awful lot of side slopes, down slopes, all sorts of things. But, the ball just kicks and just goes off sideways. I hit a wedge into 13 and thinking I know what I'm doing. I end up 38 yards from the hole. I mean, could I just get a little bit wrong? And that's what happens. The ball here just, it repels the ball. All slopes are heading out of town.
Is the wind consistent, at least?
No, never. Never consistent on the links. I mean, it was quartering. I mean, I watched TV this morning and I was listening, just making notes on a few clubs they were hitting, and I'm standing there thinking, how did they do that? Because it sure isn't that way now. It's only got to change from, a little right to left down to a little right to left into, and that's a massive difference. One will go forever and one will stop. So it's very difficult.
So you take what you put on the board today gratefully,
well,
considering the conditions.
Well, you have to take what you do. You make mistakes. You make I made a couple of bad club choices, but what have you? It's very difficult to just pick the right thing, get the right bounce, and and do it all. So, they had a good draw this morning. Hopefully, I'm 7:30 tomorrow. I'll get a break.
Let's get you out of this and get dry.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, guys. You saw the play by Trevor Immelman, skirting the road hole bunker. And he'll have his putt left for par at the 17th, and Phil Mickelson down in that same general area.
I got to tell you, interesting, guys. I've never seen 3 players in the same group come up short here at the road hole bunker, just stopping short just outside the lip.
Well, a lot of different options here, Billy. I mean, you got the flop shot as an option. You go to the right of the bunker, try to use the slope, as Ian Poulter's doing.
You better be supremely confident if you're going to try that flop shot from here.
That's an awesome play there. The Ryder Cupper, Ian Poulter.
I like the way he goes about it. Nice aggressive swing.
Very athletic golf swing.
I like it.
I think so much instruction today is talking too much about style, and it gets the natural talent of a lot of players out of their athleticism.
Yeah, I mean, you can go down the range and a lot of players, 25 of them on the range all look alike.
And now Mickelson's third.
He'd like that one over.
At the 14th earlier, VJ for eagle. Oh, that gets him right back there. 3 under par, 3 off the pace. Showing the strain that St. Andrews and the weather and the pressure of round 1 can take. Tiger Woods, 6 under. Sergio Garcia, stroke back, and then the roll call of those who are at 4 under, either still on the course or in the clubhouse with 68. Vijay Singh now creeping into the second page of our leaderboard at 3 under par with 4 more to play. Now Steve Webster to finish things at 18. This for birdie. Keep in mind that he was at 6 under and sharing the lead.
This guy had great promise and turned pro in 95 and for 10 years could not win. Had 5 second place finishes. And really, I think it was a message from Seve Ballesteros that told him you need to get going. You need to win. And the very next week he won in Italy.
Meantime, Phil gives one back at 17. Tiger could get some company at the top of the leaderboard right here from Sergio Garcia. Although from this distance, I'd like to be able to stay just a stroke back. Immelman surveying his par putt to remain at 4 under.
Really don't see a lot of people get it up and in, especially short of the road bunker. And boy, this be nice, especially being 4 under par. You have the 18th, the drivable hole. I mean, you've got to hang this just outside the right edge and put a little speed behind it. Like so.
Nothing to this game. Congrats. That's a great save. He's 4 under as he heads to the last. Solid day for Trevor Immelman. And now for par, Steve Webster. Five over on the backside.
Disappointing, but, you know, when you factor in that he played in the afternoon, he's under par, that's the plus, that's the positive.
So we've seen on 17, we've seen Phil Mickelson bogey, seen Trevor Immelman save par, and now Poulter to save par. Well done. He heads to the finishing hole. And we head to commercial here from St. Andrews in day 1 of the Open Championship. On the tee at 18, Trevor Immelman 2 strokes off the lead in day 1 of the Open Championship.
Looking anxiously to the right. It's actually not a bad lead from there. It's not where you're trying to hit it on the hole.
But it's okay now.
Yeah. The old buildings, many of those buildings were made from the rubble of the destroyed St. Andrews Cathedral back in the mid-1500s. That was really one of the centers of the Protestant Reformation.
Phil Mickelson away at the 18th.
That's a very good lead right there. Phil's short game, I'd expect him to get that up and in.
Now Sergio Garcia, this for his par now at 13.
And you saw the lengthy birdie putt he had. This is the largest green at St. Andrews, almost an acre in size. Double green with the 5th, the par 5.
So a 3 putt for Sergio, and he's back in that group at 4 under par. And a big group it is, 2 strokes behind Tiger Woods here on day 1. And you see how big that group is at 68. Still guys on the course, including Trevor Immelman, and a bunch at 68 in the clubhouse, 2 strokes back. Ernie Johnson, Bobby Clampett, Bill Kratzert back with you here during our 7 hours of coverage on TNT. If you had to characterize what we've seen on day 1, how would you do that, Bobby?
Ernie, I think, first of all, you saw some good scoring because the scoring conditions were better this morning. The winds were light, maybe 10 knots or so. They doubled in velocity this afternoon, and the scores have been soaring ever since. What do you think, Billy?
Yeah, you were out there in it, Billy.
Well, Darren Clark made the comment to me, and Nick Faldo just backed it up. He said these hole locations out here, these pin positions, they're just so hard to get close to that, the guys are, finding shots, going right and left and then releasing away. In fact, on the 13th hole, I saw more balls closer to the 5th hole than I did on 13 when they were playing 13. So it's just very difficult out there, and combine the fact that the wind was up and it started getting cooler. I think the guys in the afternoon, they just took the brunt of it.
About 59 players right now at par or better here on day 1 at St. Andrews. And Vijay Singh off of that eagle. See if he can gain some momentum here as he heads for home.
Yeah, it's a tough stretch of holes. 15, 16, and 17. Really the meat and brunt of the golf course, especially with this north wind blowing. That's one of the best of the day.
Especially with it coming out of that rough. I'm sure that was a pretty greasy lie over there.
They take a look at VJ's scorecard going out in 34. And the eagle at 14, which jumped him right back into the thick of things here.
Very solid opening round for VJ.
Paul McGinley on the tee at 14.
Today, Bobby, this is actually a pretty easy driving hole. Into the wind, it's very hard, but you can see the out of bounds, the stone wall right there, and you have the Beardies over to the left.
Well, let's take a look at the 14th, Billy. 618 yards, lengthened by some 37 yards this year. Over 2,000. Beardies there to the left, and that devilish hell bunker, the one that Nicklaus took 5 strokes to get out of. And today this is actually reachable in 2 as the winds are out of the north and slightly helping and right to left, especially off the tee. Second shot more crosswind. Good birdie opportunity today, but when the winds turn around and come out of the east, look out. Whew.
And we'll be taking you back there, obviously, but right now at the 17th, Greg Norman at +1 and looking at a birdie putt here on the road hole.
And Bobby, I think anything 1 over, even 1 under in the afternoon, pretty solid.
Absolutely. And these guys will be able to have an earlier tee time tomorrow morning, which I think no matter what, day in and day out, the early morning conditions are going to outperform the afternoon in Open Championships.
And I was out there, with Jack finishing his round, and at +3, I think he's really back in it because now I think the putt definitely goes over par.
Yeah, I would think if Jack shoots a couple under tomorrow, he'll make the cut.
Oh, absolutely.
Now Sergio on the tee after dropping a stroke.
Well, if he catches one here, Bobby. Well,
I don't think we have to worry about that, Billy.
I don't think we have to either, but what I was about to say, if he catches one, he's definitely going to drive it through the fairway.
See, and this is what can happen at St. Andrews. If you hit a really terrible tee shot but miss it in the right spot,
oh yeah,
you're fine.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if he wouldn't knock his second shot onto the green.
And the scene at the 18th, we showed you the tee shots of Trevor Immelman and Phil Mickelson, Ian Poulter in this group. So Immelman about to play his second.
It's going to start break. It's going to break quite a lot from here to the green. Eh?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why it's going to be turning all the way.
You know, just at the one hole right at the gate. Yeah. I mean, it's just that one shit. At least we know. You know.
and concentrate on the speed.
It's kind of odd hearing them say that it's going to break a lot prior to getting to the green. So many times you use your putter from 20, 25 yards off the green here at the old course.
This is all natural terrain. There was never a golf architect here to design this course. He won't like that one.
He'll have that for birdie. We'll return to 18 momentarily. Now VJ coming off an eagle. Birdie chance at the 15th.
Played a practice round with Tom Pernice yesterday, and Tom told me unofficially VJ had 9 birdies yesterday.
Just half?
Yeah. Then he practiced for 3 hours afterward. Should have made more.
Now Phil with his second at the 18th.
Wonderful.
If you're playing with him, you might say, hey, good speed. That was a work of art by the left-hander, who ends his day with just a little tap-in birdie. So Phil Mickelson, 74 on day one. We'll be back. The IBM tournament summary, Tiger Woods put a 66 on the board, and he continues to lead by 2. Steve Webster, a front 930, which featured back-to-back eagles at 8 and 9. Jack Nicklaus, 3 over par. A 75 for Jack, as we wait to see if tomorrow is his second round, and if his Sunday might be his final rather than Friday.
There's an Open Championship camera shot if I've
There
ever
you
seen one. Look at all the water on the lens.
Got that right.
That was a ball.
There, Paul McGinley surveying his third at the 14th. Par 5, 618 yards.
And Billy, when you're faced with these kind of shots, first you got to pick the line. That's the initial process. And then when you get over the practice strokes, you're really focusing in on the speed and trying to visualize it. There's a much better camera angle now that we can see up over the slope, and the severe elevation changes on these little shots around the green.
And then you have to factor in the moisture that now is on the surface. So hopefully it's not too sluggish coming out of the fairway onto the putting surface. Otherwise he's going to catch that ridge and be way left.
Good positive stroke there. I like the way he approached that.
Boy, that's not too bad from there.
So he'll have a look at birdie. We wait for Sergio to play his next shot here. And you heard Sergio talk earlier about not having won a major championship at this point in his career. The world ranking 1 through 10. You see that those top 5 all have, certainly. Jim Furyk at number 8 has. David Toms at number 10. A PGA championship to his credit. Obviously, our thoughts, prayers go out to Padraig Harrington, Bobby and Billy. You know, he had to withdraw from this tournament, lost his father to cancer earlier
been a
this
long
week.
battle, too, that his father is going through. And Padraig, we look forward to having you back, buddy.
How about this lie, Bobby?
Well, Sergio's the king of improvisation. Now look how close he has to stand to it.
Wells was in this bunker earlier today, Bobby. You just have to land it just on top, and even if you do land it just on top, it's so hard to get the ball close to the hole.
Not a shot you practice. Pretty well done.
Well, he certainly took leaving it short out of play, and that was a smart thing to do.
Greg Norman, a two-time Open champion, and his second at the 18th. We've seen a lot of players in this very spot today.
Pretty good tee shot.
Back must be loose.
You know, he said to me yesterday on the practice range that he hasn't had a chance to test it when the weather gets cold. He knows he's okay when it's warm. He's been working hard on his game now for about 10 days post-surgery. He was hitting balls prior to that, but not on a daily basis like he's been the last 10.
You know, you might get an answer to that first question with the rainy and cool conditions as they are right now. We go back to VJ.
Get the puck.
Got his wish.
That's not an easy bunker shot coming straight down. Only the lie will
backside, so I'm not really sure.
Lie will dictate everything. Tiger was in that bunker earlier and had to pitch out sideways.
Tiger Woods leading by 2, and as he's been doing all day with essays and interviews, we check in again with Jim Huber.
Under umbrellas now, EJ, as we talk to Trevor Immelman, a fine 68 under these conditions.
Yeah, I'm absolutely thrilled with the way I played, and with, you know, particularly the way I scored out there. I hold some crucial putts, and it was a great day for me.
You really got the brunt of it this afternoon. We've been talking all day long that the guys who went out in the morning really had the easier time.
Yeah, you know, right when I woke up this morning and switched the TV on, the commentators were saying it was blustery conditions, so I knew it kind of had the making of something that could get quite mean. But, you know, I felt like we didn't get too unlucky out there. It was only just the last couple of holes we got some rain.
Turnabout's fair play, though. You go out early in the morning, you could take advantage of that.
Well, hopefully. You just never know with the Open Championship. You don't know what the weather's going to hold for us tomorrow, but you know, I'm very happy with the way I played today, and hopefully I can keep it going.
Good play, and go get dry.
Thanks, Jim.
EJ?
And we can say the same to you, Jim. Nice job as we check in with Ben Curtis, the champion at Royal St. George's 2 years ago. 5 over for the day.
Been working hard on his game. Third place finish at the Western Open a couple of weeks ago.
Paid off in Chicago.
Yeah. Really, that was his first top 10 since Memorial. And that is only 2 top 10 finishes.
Second, I was going to say second since he won the Open.
Yeah.
Well, Sergio has a look at birdie here.
And Bobby, this putt back up the hill.
To get to a stroke of the lead. He can't believe it. I think he thought he made it, Billy.
Certainly took a peek in there.
And Greg Norman finishes with a birdie at the 18th.
That's a nice round of golf, even par.
First round since February. Son Gregory on the bag. Look at the ball of VJ's at 16. That's the Wig bunker.
Did you memorize all these names of these bunkers?
Oh.
There's only 112 of them out there.
Yeah.
That's
good. This is what's so fabulous. Look at how they layer the sod on top of one another to create the look of the lips.
It is fabulous. I don't think VJ thinks it's fabulous right now, but
Jim Furyk to play before VJ does.
And This is, there's always an element of luck when you come over here and play, certainly more so than in the States. You hit the wrong spot in a bunker, could cost you 4 or 5 shots.
Well, you know, over in the States, we pretty much play an aerial game, and, you know, when you come over here to the Open Championship, you play a ground game.
You talk about that as we look at Jim Furyk, who earlier on 7 was in that big shell bunker. Left one in there, then had to blast out toward the 11th green.
Where Tiger was in it earlier today and had a nice open shot, made birdie.
Exactly.
Go. I'll let you know tomorrow, Ernie. I'm going to go home tonight and count how many shots I've seen of players go sideways or backwards out of some of these bunkers.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Absolutely.
You'll just miss dinner tonight while you do that.
Oh, he's going for the lefty here.
How about that?
And all he's doing there is trying to position himself in the bunker where he can have a full swing. And he knows that from experience. He's watched the Nakajimas and the Nicklaus's take 4 or 5 to get out of some of these bunkers.
Sure.
And that's a smart play. It's a penalty stroke, essentially.
Right. Just move it back far enough in the bunker, and
you could take an unplayable lie, but then you got to drop the ball, and the ball's probably going to plug. So that's not a very good option. I guess you have to know the speed of the sand.
Hold still, please.
Shot
Thank
like
you.
that.
Well, he's going to have to come up with a good one right here because it is straight downhill to the hole.
No, he can spin it, though. He's a master at these.
How nice is that? Well, we've seen a little bit of everything in these bunkers today. Day 1 of the Open Championship. Back here at St. Andrews, and at the 17th, the second for Vijay Singh.
Trying to bring it in really high from the right-hand side.
Oh, my goodness, Vijay. After a perfect tee shot like that, that's a severe miscue right there, Billy. That was a perfect angle.
I think that's just a simple case of trying to do too much with it.
Sergio's 3rd at the 15th. This a lengthy look at birdie.
Watch the end of this putt. Watch how much it moves to his right.
Pretty well done.
That left to stay 2 shots off the pace. And we catch up with Fred Couples.
Here at the par 5, his second shot.
You can see how far they're driving it, Bobby. I mean, they just run out of fairway.
Don't get soft. Oh.
Didn't listen.
5 yards short of the green.
As Vijay makes his way to the 17th green. Take another look at this famous road hole at St. Andrews.
455-yard par 4. It used to be a par 5 back till it was changed in 1964. Players today with the right to left helping win off the tee. We've seen 2 irons, 3 irons, 3 woods. Must be moved left to right, though, to hold that crossing wind. Now, there it is, the road hole bunker and the road hole. The road just to the right of the green, and with the whole location today up against the edge of the bunker, brings every element of this hole into play.
We've seen Monty play from the road effectively today. We saw David Toms have some trouble on this hole.
We've seen some out of bounds. We've seen all kinds of things.
So how would you play what Vijay has here?
Well, the lie determines everything. If you can get under it with the grass, it's just a standard little chip shot with the sand.
I watched Watson play a shot earlier. It's kind of a nifty little shot. He kind of hit it into the bank, killed it, and let it release down. But I think Vijay's going to hit, I think he's going to flop it.
Shigeki Maruyama to play first.
just can't believe how hard it is to judge the pace of these type putts right here.
That's pretty darn good right there. Meantime, Sergio.
That's for par at 15. After the pulled tee shot. Mission accomplished.
And we bring it back to the 17th. Jim Furyk.
Pretty much a duplicate of Mariama.
Stroke average at 17 today, 4.73. Most difficult hole on the course, only 3 birdies, 39 bogeys, 14 doubles, and 5 others.
And in the year 2000, 13 and 17, those were the 2 toughest holes. Some things never change, man.
That's true. See, VJ's got a pretty good lie there. He can open the blade and get under it.
Yeah, there's going to be some grass between the club face and ball, but
not that difficult of a shot, really.
No.
Three par putts upcoming at 17. We'll be back with more coverage from St. Andrews after this. Jim Furyk made his par putt at 17. Here's VJ.
Not a whole lot to it. Right edge.
Stays 2 under for the championship. For highlights of day 1 of the Open Championship, tune into ABC tonight, 1:05 Eastern Time for the late night highlight show. And we're back at you with more coverage. Round 2, when you get up in the morning, 7 o'clock Eastern Time for 7 more hours of coverage. And an encore presentation as well. Jack Nicklaus, Tiger Woods, their rounds in their entirety tomorrow in our second round coverage. Well, Frederick Jakobsen, and we've seen this scene played out time and time again.
The Wick bunker play getting yet another victim.
just another one I can add to my list, aren't it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Playing 180 degrees opposite the
VJ approach.
That's when you got to be careful not to walk around the ball.
And put that into a footprint.
Yeah, exactly.
On the tee now at 16 is Sergio.
I love that move. I don't see Sergio hit that shot very often, Billy. That's a little Tiger-esque finish.
A little bit of a stinger action.
And that's the way they're playing 16 this year. This is different. See all the rough there on the right part of your screen? That rough is not nearly as deep or encroached as much in 2000.
You know, when I think about it, I can't recall watching two professionals, Jakobsen and Singh, out of a bunker, just chip to another part of the bunker so they can play the next shot. Can you?
No. You never see that. They're both going to probably end up with fives.
Yeah.
David Duval, the 01 Open champion. Boy, it's going downhill in a hurry on this day.
Hit it, David.
He needs to get out and play more, Billy, you know? He needs to get that fire under his belly, and he's only going to get it coming out and playing.
Jim Furyk up there on the tee at 18, and
that for an eagle.
David Duval, 37 on the front, just one over, 43 on the back.
That's an interesting play for VJ. I
Well,
could see him hitting 3-wood here.
I could see him hitting 3-wood exactly where Jim Furyk's ball is.
And he's got the driver.
I think
He's got to cut it quite a bit.
He's going to have to take something off of it.
Yeah, you could see that.
You know what? That was an easy one. That was the easy driver right there.
Yeah. That one only carries about 320.
Yeah, that was just a little driver right there. Perfect club.
Yeah.
Much more with these two when we come back to St. Andrews. Back here on TNT, round one of the Open Championship from St. Andrews. Sergio Garcia waiting, and Tom Lehman.
I'm just going to wait till they hit.
Yeah.
That's a good
waiting.
idea. He's been over here for a couple of weeks now. And suffered a big embarrassment a couple of weeks ago when he missed his tee time. Can you imagine
Have you ever missed your tee time, Bobby?
Something like that?
Have you ever missed your tee time, Bobby? Have you ever tried to qualify for the Open and missed your tee time, Bobby?
Would I do something like that?
Reopening some old wounds here in the tower. Fred Couples for par at the 14th.
Hit it. Good job.
Andy, I think, is as good a caddy as there is on tour, and he used to take yardage by the half yard when he worked for Johnny Miller. He's as good a yardage taker as there is, and his experience.
Now that might be taken a little too far.
Well,
I do agree. I mean, he is very positive, and he does keep his player pumped up.
They're working on that number around 185, hit it below the slope, bounce it up, and they figured it pretty well.
Is that sweet? Look at that.
If you're just joining us, it is around 7 o'clock in the evening local time here in Scotland. Day one of the 134th Open Championship from St. Andrews. Thank you for spending the last 7 hours with us here on TNT. We're not done yet, folks. Sergio Garcia.
Just a touch of a downhill lie.
Makes a big difference because now the trajectory is going to be lower. The ball's going to run more, and it limits the shot you can play and limits your ability to control distance.
Now, among those at 4 under par, 2 off the pace, Mark Hensby. As he plays the 15th and a chance for birdie. And he's within a stroke of the lead.
Solid swinging Australian.
Now, VJ.
Just to get to 4 under.
Seen an awful lot of tap-in birdies at the finishing hole today.
Yeah, having to play in the afternoon, though, this is a solid opening round for VJ.
So 69 on day one, 3 under, 3 off the pace for Vijay Singh, and a big exhale after a hard day's work here at St. Andrews. When we come back, we'll show you Tiger's Day, Jack's Day in review in case you're just joining us here on TNT. 6 on the card, and it remains the number to beat here on day 1. Among those giving chase, Sergio Garcia playing the 16th.
Billy, this is a doozy. This is the toughest putt in golf. The uphill, downhill.
It's got a little bit of everything. Key is to, to match the pace, coming diagonally across that slope right there that's in front of him, matching that with the speed and, to get it on the proper line, working down to the hole. That's the hard thing. I mean, if you race it through there, then you've raced it through the break, and it's not going to turn back to the right.
Almost got hit by a pigeon. We were covering the Ford Senior Championship last week, and Dana quickly got pecked in the head while he was in the lead by a blackbird. And he quickly went bogey, bogey.
It's like a Hitchcock movie.
Yeah.
Hit with what?
A blackbird. Got pecked. Got him. A very angry blackbird, by the way. House here to tell us what kind of blackbird it was. That's not too bad from there.
Well, you see the old clock on the wall, 7:05 local time on a Thursday evening in Scotland, and you see the name at the top of the leaderboard, that of Tiger Woods, a 66. That's one of the stories of the day, along with Jack Nicklaus, who went off early today.
Just before 8 a.m. And how about this second shot? This thrilled a few folks who got up early.
He would birdie the first. He'd give that one back with a bogey at the second. Then bogey the fourth. Then at the 7th, in front of massive shell bunker, his second. And a chance for his second birdie of the day.
Beautiful bump and run.
He did birdie from there. And then at the 9th, another birdie try. But short. On the 14th, another birdie putt.
Just off the green in 2 at the par 5, and nothing falling for Jack.
Well, they just watched the putt of Tom Watson break sharp to his right, and that one just hangs.
Over the Swilken Bridge at 18. When he walks there tomorrow, will it be for the last time, or will he play the weekend? That's the question.
He may not know when he walks over it tomorrow.
And that at 18. Finishing with a par 4. And a total of 75, 3 over par. Matched by Tom Watson. Luke Donald also playing in that group with a 68, just 2 back. Now, the Tiger story on the day.
Off to a blasé start, 3 pars in a row, but then caught fire with this spark at number 4.
Bye-bye blasé right there. On the 7th. First bunker he'd hit. Didn't hit one in 2000. Hits this one and then says, well, I guess what you do here is get up and down from these.
Out of the shell bunker, and that was incredible. Even he admitted that was a great shot.
As he termed it to Jim Huber, an ungodly shot there at 7. He would birdie from there, and at the 9th.
Drivable par 4 today, downwind. This for birdie.
And Tiger takes the lead. He really burned it up in the loop.
Birdied the 10th, and then here again at the 11th, a big sidewinder for birdie. He's feeling it now.
Dead center.
Have to go 6 under par in his round.
On the par 4, 12th, his second.
Little pitch and run up the slope. And back to make the loop in 5 under with the 6-hole loop.
He would give one back, but then came to 18. And this his second right through the Valley of Sin.
After a 3-wood off the tee.
And this for birdie. To put the exclamation point on a 66. He had company briefly at the top of the leaderboard. But nobody in the clubhouse with a 66. A bunch at 68. And Mark Hensby now just 1 stroke back as he plays the 16th. Sergio at the 16th to stay at 4 under a moment ago.
Really mishit that.
So Garcia 3 behind Woods. Tom Lehman on the tee at 17. How do players like this tee shot over the sheds and over the sign and taking aim at the O in course or O in hotel? Does it make a difference?
Well, all players like to see the fairway. They like to see it. No one likes a blind shot, but you know what? Hey, everyone has to play it, so go ahead.
And certainly they've prepared where they know exactly where they need to play it and what shot they need to play.
Yeah. Just pick out the right O.
Yeah. Kind of like the 4th hole at Westchester, which I think is one of the great tee shots. Go blind, but you know where you got to hit it.
Now, Freddie.
Oh, he was down there in a divot.
He's not hitting the right club.
Pretty good.
Unusual reaction for the swing.
Paul McGinley off the tee at 17.
Now, see, I like the aggressive play. I like the three metal off the tee.
Yeah, narrow that is if you
get it down there.
I like getting it down there. I like right to the end of the fairway where you need to play it. Where VJ was earlier.
Exactly. I like taking it all the way down there.
Yeah.
There it reads Old Course Hotel, and during a practice round you can hear guys say, well, take it over the U. That's where I think. It depends on how you shape the ball.
Well, the more club you take off the tee, the farther right you have to aim. Center cut by Sergio.
Ahead at 17, Frederick Jakobsen. To try to get back to red numbers here.
Everyone's been leaving this putt short. That was a good solid wrap.
Actually, they've all missed it pretty much on the right-hand side.
Oh, so close for Jakobsen. Remains at even par, 6 strokes off the lead. The pace set by Tiger Woods. Day 1 of the Open Championship. It's evening in Scotland. There's still work to do at the Old Course. Back here at the 16th, and Mark Hensby, who is in second place all by himself. 1 shot behind Tiger Woods, his second.
Hit it left of the principal nose off the tee. More difficult angle from there. With the wind, that's the right direction wind. Good shot.
And that's all that separates Mark Hensby from a share of the lead. Now Tom Lehman.
Hooky, hooky, hooky. Hooky.
It got it. Good shot.
the best we've seen at 17.
He brought that in almost sideways.
Yeah. Well, he cut the slope there. That's
Very
the thing
nice.
about 17. There's that, if you hit it right, short right, it'll kick left.
Sergio waiting.
St. Andrews will make you think so much. The wind, how much is it going to bounce? What trajectory shot should you hit? You just don't get up and hit it here, Billy.
No. Well, I think maybe 15 feet right of the flag. That'd be a nice shot from here.
Yeah, I'll have to land it in the front third to do that. Just never looked committed on that shot to me.
Back-to-back holes, he's left it on the front edge.
Trying to bounce back from a bogey at 16 now. Here's Fred Couples. Freddie taps it in. There's Paul McGinley.
Gets a lot out of his game, I think.
Hang on.
Did a lot of shots.
Ooh, that came out nice.
One of the best of the day.
Tantalizingly close to the road hole bunker. Now the 14th. Stuart Appleby's third on the par 5.
Now there's enough room once he gets up on top of that slope right there that he can land the ball and he's got enough room to stop it.
Great shot. Good shot.
Runner up to L's at Muirfield in 2002.
On the 16th green, Mark Hensby, a chance to tie for the lead.
Interesting story about Mark Hensby. He was a golf enthusiast from Australia, grew up under idolizing Greg Norman, and just did anything he could to try to find a way to make a career in playing golf. He worked as a waiter, a mailman, tried to earn a little money so he could play some competitive golf, come to America.
And a chance to tie for the lead that close.
Kick in there. And speaking of kicking, Hensby's a kickboxing expert.
See those finishes this year in the majors. A couple of top 5s in Augusta and the U.S. Open. Tiger's 66 now and safe for a better part of 6 hours. The 2003 Open champion Ben Curtis is second at the 18th. Just a shake of the head from Ben. And the third for Garcia now at the 17th.
We saw a couple of good putts from Mariano and Furyk from this exact same spot, Bobby.
Once it gets up top, it's not that difficult of a putt. Key is to get it
Well,
rolling, going up the slope.
I don't think there's a lot in it.
Mark Hensby on the tee at 17. Stroke behind the leader.
It's a little intimidating in this situation, having to play this tee shot. You gotta control your emotions.
Pretty nice action.
Yep.
Pretty efficient. Not a lot of wasted move.
No, a simple golf swing.
Yep.
Our day one coverage of the Open Championship continuing here on TNT. We'll be back in just a moment. For more extensive and exclusive coverage of the Open Championship here on TNT. Ian Woosnam with a birdie try at the 18th. And dinner tastes a little better. A 1 over par 73 round. Sergio for par at the 17th. It's back-to-back bogeys.
He's been fighting it the last really 4 or 5 holes. He's not in a groove right now.
Ben Curtis for the birdie try to finish his day.
Nice birdie.
A nice birdie, but a disappointing 78 for the champion of 2 years ago. Paul McGinley on the tee at the last.
That away.
Big bounce. Come on,
Ryder Cup hero in the 34th Ryder Cup.
All the way up in there.
How amazing with his game.
Get up, stay up.
He's never had a top 10 finish in an Open Championship.
At the 14th, Miguel Angel Jimenez. Chance to go to 2 under.
In typical Jimenez style, quietly moving up the leaderboard. Never says much, just gets the job done.
Tom Lehman on the tee at 18.
Pitch through the Valley of Sin.
That's a tough little pitch shot right there.
Sergio trying to hold it together here down the stretch. Had it to 5 under. Now at 2 under.
Amazing.
Boy,
A bit speedy develops.
Did he give that one a rip? Just on the front.
They're back at the 17th. Justin Leonard second.
If you like quadruple breakers.
You got to have a few putts that have everything in it.
We're going to show you a shot of the range here, and who do you think we will center on?
Not too crowded. Yeah, well, yesterday he made 9 birdies in a practice round. He needed a 3-hour practice session. Today, shooting 69. I mean, Billy, that could be a 5-hour practice session.
Well, and you know, when you factor in that on the range, everything is left to right. So he's hitting balls into a wind that, you know, promotes, you know, a little bit of over-the-top move.
Was it? Yeah. Which marker right below? Yeah, there he is.
Graham McDowell, the Irishman. Very good player. College Player of the Year in the States. I think one of the rising stars. Played at the University of Alabama. Home club is Port Rush in Northern Ireland, so he's used to playing in windy conditions. He knew it.
And just so we don't get those Blazers mad, you know, Alabama, Birmingham.
Right. Thank you.
Mark Hensby, who just missed out on a chance at the 16th to join Tiger at the top of the leaderboard, just a stroke back at 5 under, playing his second.
Looks like a pretty clean lie, Bobby.
Yeah, it is. This has to be spot on. No bailout here, Billy. Just hit the shot. And he pulled it off.
Playing in his first Open Championship and flirting with the lead, Mark Hensby will be back. We'll see what happens on the 17th green when we come back. Back here at the 18th and the second for Sergio Garcia.
Trying to take the tilt out of the front edge off. Landed on top and let it release.
That's pretty crafty.
I like that.
I like all the bright colors he's starting to wear these days, you know? He was more modest in his dress before, but...
Well, the third for Graham McDowell at the road hole.
Earlier, we watched Mickelson and the entire group putted from this situation. He's playing a little pitching into the bank.
That's a lot better than Mickelson did.
There are so many ways to play the shots around these green complexes.
Paul McGinley with an eagle attempt at the 18th. An excellent look there at Justin Leonard, his third now at the 17th.
When you talk about Justin Leonard's 17th hole Open Championships, you can't help but remember the bomb he made in the final round at Troon. En route to shooting 65. Had a 97.
How about when he faces here, though? Did you see that turn to the left and then back to the right?
And then again back to the left.
Oh, nicely judged, but it just has to be mind-boggling to see the old course for the first time.
Yes. But you have to stay committed. You have to pick a line, pick a speed, and commit yourself to it, because you could second-guess yourself to death out here.
Mm-hmm. Now the birdie try for Paul McGinley.
better keep it inside the hole and put some speed on it.
Yep. Not a good stroke.
No, that was pretty much a whiff right there.
3-putt par. Still a good solid round.
70 has him 4 shots back. And now Mark Hensby, who like he was at 16, a chance to tie for the lead. Same story here at 17.
And this very makeable. Pretty straight up the hill.
So he moves to 18, still a stroke behind Tiger Woods. Actually won the John Deere Classic last year, could have come to Troon and competed, decided not to, and actually could have had a John Deere tractor as well for winning that, and said, give me toys for my kids with John Deere on it. So he has a load of John Deere toys, and Sergio Garcia has really struggled home here today.
You could just see the enthusiasm fall out on about 13.
They played the last 6 holes, 3 over par. 5 under through 12. I mean, it was set up for him, especially with 14, the par 5.
And he knows it.
Now Graham McDowell to save par at the 17th.
Stroke.
Very good.
He's got a band of supporters out there.
Fred Couples back on the tee there at 17.
Now Freddie will move this left to right.
He's aiming way left. Of course, that's Freddie's play. He and Butch have been working on that, trying to get Freddie more square. He still aims well left and pushes the ball, kind of moderate version of Trevino or Paul Azinger.
And now Justin Leonard for his par. So he moves to the 18th at 1 over.
And let's take a look at the home hole, the 357-yard 18, named Old Tom Morris, after the 4-time British Open champion, who was the head professional and superintendent for some 40 years here. Today, with the northerly winds blowing, the players, the drivers in 3 was just gunning at the green. It's a long par 3 for them today. More birdies than pars here.
And Mark Hensby away, just a stroke off the lead.
Yeah, that's well done.
I've got my scored have been matching too long now. I got me confused.
Now, when you watch Justin Leonard play this tee shot, Billy, he doesn't really have the length to get it all the way to the hole. So, with a little bit of a helping right to left wind, do you play the more aggressive shot, hit it out toward the out of bounds on the right, and try to shape it left to get more running and get it all the way to the hole, or do you hit the straight shot and play it short?
I think he tries to chase it on there. I think he tries to hit that kind of that looper from right to left.
Looks like he was trying to turn it right to left. Is it drawing, though?
Oh.
That was a wicked bounce.
See? Perfect. You got to hit that looper up the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's in good shape.
We'll be back to 18 in just a second. John Daly at the 15th.
Had it 200 at one point in the round.
And he's got it to 1 under now. Graham McDowell's tee shot at the 18th.
Pretty good swing, don't you think, Billy?
Very compact, very aggressive.
That took a big hop. That should get there.
Easily there. Easily.
Nice shot.
And so, an eagle opportunity awaits Graham McDowell there. A tie for the lead, possibly, for Mark Hensby, or better. We'll be back to the 18th after this. It was 1:18 local time when Tiger Woods finished his 66. It is now 7:45 local time, and he's still right there, though Mark Hensby has a chance to give him some company at the top of the leaderboard as he plays the 18th. There's Vijay Singh, 69, 3 strokes back. You saw Retief Goosen there, too, in the lowest combined finishes in the 2005 majors. Tiger received first and a second. He is first today. Hensby standing second right now. Vijay Singh tied for 12th, and Retief Goosen third in a tie with that 68. And so true to form in this, the third major championship of the season. Now here's Freddie at 17.
Coming out of the right-hand rough. Appears to be a pretty good lie. Trying to shape it in there right to left. Oh, what a golf shot. What a golf. The best of the day. The best I've seen on 17 today.
No doubt. Ah, look at Justin Leonard. Trying something a little different at 18. He won't like it. Out of the Valley of Sin. And that's actually an original graveyard. The base of the Valley of Sin, it's been told, is the actual original elevation of the original graveyard. It's there.
Got a lot of knowledge, Bobby.
That goes without saying. Mark Hensby now, and this is for the outright lead. If he were able to send this home, his second at the par 4 18th.
How far does he have to throw it out to the right side, Bobby?
I'd say probably 10 feet.
10, 12 feet, yeah.
At the line.
Just about everyone from that angle has come up 6, 7, 5 feet short, you know, somewhere in that area.
Yep.
Not one player's gotten it all the way to the hole.
So for the third straight hole, he will have a chance to grab a share of the lead with Tiger.
But you know, you're really seeing on 18 an example of how technology has changed the face of this game. I can never recall in all the years I've been watching the Open Championship at St. Andrews, this many players able to go for the green at 18.
Good point.
And there's no place for him to lengthen 18.
You'll recall Graham McDowell driving this green and setting up an eagle opportunity.
Pretty much all day long. It was an overcast day. Then we finally did get the rain, and now look how brightly the sun's shining now. Has to shield his eyes. Pretty solid round.
And here's a little known fact for Graham McDowell. For the first half of the season, he had the longest drive on the PGA Tour this year. 421 yards. Bet you didn't know that, Billy.
No, I did not.
Thanks to my handy computer.
Hustle. Must be something there that the players can't see because they continually they're coming up short.
And you'd think, and that gets back to tournament preparation because the greens don't change that much one round to the next. They know that, unless they didn't prepare properly.
Justin Leonard will be next to play.
Here's a guy who prepares properly for every major championships. He goes into that, what he calls double probation.
Double secret probation?
Yeah, that's the one. Where he gets into that hyper focus. He won't go see a movie. He won't go do anything. But he just focuses on training for the tournament.
So the fun meter goes to 0.
Exactly.
Okay.
And a misread.
Yeah, that ball works back to that. We've seen it all day long. There's just a little tilt to the hole.
Well, those R&A are clever folks, aren't they?
So a 73 in the books for Justin Leonard on day 1.
All right, Billy, I'm going to put you on the spot. Difficult hole locations today, first round of the R&A. Unfair, borderline unfair, or do you think just right for an Open Championship? How'd the R&A do?
Well, I mean, look at the scores. I mean, Bobby, they absolutely blitzed it. I mean, you know, it's right around even par for the cut. Tiger Woods had 66. I thought they did a great job.
It's for a share of the lead. And again, Mark Hensby coming within a whisper of joining Tiger at the top of the leaderboard, but a 5 under par 67 has him second alone.
But I'll get back to the technology aspect of it. You know, these greens are running at 10-5. You know, it's not like, you know, the U.S. Open Championship where they're running 12 and 12-5 and they get out of hand. I mean, they keep it, you know, within the realms of the golf course necessary to play how you need to play.
And they can put more difficult hole placements when the greens are running this speed.
Exactly.
Graham McDowell finishes with a birdie and a round of 69, 3 behind the leader, Tiger Woods. And day 1 virtually in the books here at St. Andrews. And if you've missed some of our coverage today and want to catch it again, we do have a replay of this show, an encore presentation still to come moments from now here on TNT. 75 years ago, Bobby Jones won the Grand Slam, and that feat has become one of golf's most elusive goals to the greats of the game. To many people in St. Andrews, Bobby Jones was not only a great golfer, but he was a friend. And that relationship exists to this very day. For more on that, we turn it over to Jim Huber. Good way to close it out today.